Action fanatics, Chris the Brain here with a quick programming note. This week's episode of the Bulletproof Podcast was recorded before the news broke that the legendary Chuck Norris had passed away. Next week, the entire episode will be dedicated to the memory of Chuck Norris as we discuss his 1986 film, Firewalker. Now, on to this week's show. Action fanatics, welcome to another edition of the Bulletproof Podcast. I am your host, Chris the Brain, and joining me once again, it is the Toyman, Chris DePetrillo.
As always, I am proud to be here on the Bulletproof Podcast, especially tonight, celebrating a big anniversary and a radical miracle of our own, because we've got a fourth chair tonight, as you will get to in just a moment.
We sure will, but before we get to our special guest, we got to bring him in. It's Ryan Campbell.
Brain, I'm ready to take a chance and risk it all for the thrill of the moment.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are. Thank you so much, Ryan, for postponing your SATs to be here tonight. And now,
my mom wasn't happy about it, but she'll get over it.
Moms usually aren't. You know, they're always cautious.
I told her I got a chance to be the best podcaster in the world.
Yeah. We've all got a chance. I don't know how well we're due, but maybe this man will be the best podcaster in the world. It's our special guest. It's been a long time coming. It is the return of the one and the only, the real Todd Gaines.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You know what it's time to do? It's time to break that ice.
Oh, that's right. And speaking of icebreakers, let's talk about it, RTG. I mean, it's been several years since you've been on this program. Do you have a James Brown update for us? Is that man's body still on ice somewhere?
Oh, my goodness gracious,
Brain. And not buried.
Oh, my goodness. So James Brown is still above ground. The children are still fighting over his money. I don't even know. I haven't seen an update lately, but James will probably never get buried. He will never be able to rest easy. So everybody out there listening, I'm sorry. Just tonight when you go to bed, just say a prayer that James Brown can rest in peace.
Well, his kids are going to be dead before they figure out what to do with him. But
yeah,
that's neither here nor there, because what I want to talk about next is that, you know, RTG he's not just returning to the podcast here this episode. He is back on bulletproofaction.com. His first edition of Reel to Reel covering Game of Death dropped earlier this month. So if you missed out on that, go to bulletproofaction.com and check it out. RTG, how did it feel to be back in the saddle again?
Yeah, man. I'm glad to be back. I got burned out, bro. Just straight up. All those lazy Bruce Willis reviews.
Yeah.
And then like someone connected in the business was like, hey man, I love your reviews, but you know, Bruce is really fucked up. And I'm like, what? And then a few months, and then just a little bit later it was like, hey, he's got dementia or whatever. So it just kind of put me on a bleh. Got burned out, but I'm back for the thrill of it, man. I'm excited to kick this off, bro.
Oh, there's some thrills to be had over on bulletproofaction.com, and some of them will come in the form of the Toyman's coverage of the season 2 premiere of Daredevil Born Again. Toyman, you've got to be excited. You've got to be excited.
I am very excited, you know, not just with Daredevil Born Again coming, but as we just saw just yesterday, the reveal of the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. So Marvel's making moves, got me pretty hyped. But after Daredevil Born Again season 1, that left me wanting more, and we are going to get more, and you are going to get more reviews, more No Surrender Cinema focusing on the new season.
Well, it was a big day for trailers, or a big week. We got Dune 3 and Spider-Man within 24 hours. I watched both of them probably about 5 or 6 times. I was super hyped.
Oh, Ryan Campbell, he is the ultimate fanboy, and his Invincible coverage has begun, and I am happy to report that Invincible is much more popular than Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
There we go. Good old Invincible back for the final season. Off to a good start with the first 3 episodes. Sometimes that doesn't work out good for us, Brain, when it does the 3 episodes in like a premiere. Sometimes the algorithm just doesn't like the way you format it. But yeah, I'm glad to see that some people are checking it out.
Yeah, I can only imagine it's going to get bigger and better as we go on. So I'm very excited about that. And folks, we're not just talking about TV shows on bulletproofAction.com, because I will have movie reviews coming up for Blazing Fist, directed by Takashi Mike. And speaking of Mike and Nick and Alice, I'll be covering that one as well. That one drops on Hulu on the 27th, so I'll be covering that one. But right now, let's get into our show. RTG is back. RTG is the man who chose our movie, a movie that is about to turn 40 years old this coming weekend, March the 28th. Does that make you feel old, RTG? And tell us about your RAD origin story.
Oh my Lord. Yeah. So we can't believe it's been since 86, right? So the first time I saw RAD was probably, I was trying to think about this, probably about 6 months or 8 months after it was released. It was on, or maybe a year, on HBO home box. It's where I believe I saw it, watched it a lot as a kid. The physical media side of RAD, I didn't really, I don't know if it was lost or we just didn't have one, like DVD, and then got back into it when they released the blue from Vinegar Syndrome. I think released one a few years back. So, yeah, but now in that movie, that release changed that whole like label too. That was so popular for them that's like their new go-to. So it's
there you go, Toyman. And I'm sure you also have fond memories of RAD from back in the day.
Yeah, much like RTG, this was replayed constantly on cable. Captured my imagination. You know, my cousins were very much into it. I did not try to mimic this movie as much as I did other ones growing up. But as far as RTG's point to the physical media, I survived for years on a VHS to DVD bootleg of this film. And, you know, I'd revisit it occasionally because it was a favorite from my youth. And it was actually a girl I know, she was talking to me about movies one day, and she's like, my husband always talks about this movie that he can't find. It's like some kid, he's like in a bike race, and his name is like Cru. And I'm like, oh, your husband likes RAD? She's like, oh my God, that's it. She's like, that's like his favorite movie. And I burned her a copy of it. And then to RTG's point again, when Vinegar Syndrome put out that 4K, I was like, okay, I am all over this. And they made such a big deal about how the rights were limited to it. They were only doing it this one time because what had happened, I guess the legend, as legend goes, is that Talia Shire was the one that did not want the film released because it was her husband that had done it and they weren't very happy with it. And then eventually whatever deals were made, now there's multiple copies. There's Blu-ray Steelbooks, which I own. There's the 4K. And there's actually going to be a new copy coming out through Vinegar Syndrome, which is going to include the documentary that they released last year. So I will now go from having to survive on a bootleg copy of this film to owning multiple special editions of it. There's also a great picture of myself and my son on my Facebook page that you may remember, Brain, of the two of us wearing our RAD racing shirts from a few years ago, because we got to experience it in the theater, not only for its 35th anniversary, so we're already going on 5 years, but we got to see the riff tracks. That's Mystery Science Theater 3000 adjacent for you fans out there, the riff tracks of RAD as well. So this is very much a RAD household.
You know, not only do I remember that picture, Toyman, I actually have it printed out in the event that I ever actually meet up with you, and I hope for you to autograph it.
You were invited out to New England by John Cena Sr. himself. So
okay, well, when somebody from New England also pays for my trip to come there, then perhaps we can make this autographed RAD picture happen. I'm actually in the same boat for a change as Ryan Campbell, because I had never seen RAD, which is a little bit
rare.
more
First watch CTB.
That's right, and it's a little bit more unexplained for me. I mean, Ryan, you were just born this year. Is that
yeah, and I could definitely see, though, I was a massive fan of like Brink and movies like that. So like watching it, I've been like, yeah, this would have been my speed if I had been born just a few years earlier. I could definitely see it.
I was going to say that you would have wanted to be a BMX bandit.
Oh yeah, I had my rollerblades after Brink and snowboarding after.
That's what I forget. You were more in the
cold.
You were more in the rollerblade era.
I love movies that are based around just like a fad that was popping up, and they were like, "We got to make a movie out of it." Those are always good.
So yeah, this was my first time. I watched a wonderful VHS rip of it, so I really felt like I was watching it back in 1986. And
digging deep into the archives.
Indeed, and I don't. Again, I can't tell you. It's like I knew of this movie, but why I never watched it, I have no idea. As the movie was progressing, I was like, did I just figure like I knew exactly what this movie was without even watching it? But I mean I say that now as a jaded adult. But it certainly didn't stop me from watching other movies that obviously I knew the outcome before I even hit play. So I don't know. It's unexplained, but I've watched it now, and we're now going to talk about it. Again, this one was released on March 28th, 1986. There could be, you can go on your Fandango app because I believe there's some 40th anniversary screenings out there. So check it out if you want to see this on the big screen. You may have missed out. But anyway, March 28th, 1986, directed by Hal Needham, who did Smokey and the Bandit, Cannonball Run 1 and 2, and a movie that we covered previously on this podcast, Toyman, Body Slam.
Another classic. Back-to-back years, RAD in 1986, Body Slam in 1987. Never mind the true classics like Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run. For me, RAD and Body Slam are where it's at.
Yeah. It's like Hal was like something like, to Ryan's point, there's a fad going on. Call Hal. He can make a movie out of it. And that's what we get here in his 86 and 87. Opening credits filled with bike tricks and the song that RTG referenced, Break the Ice. Just a classic rock anthem. What you would expect, RTG, from an 80s movie.
Yeah, man, you got to break that ice, and it gets everybody excited that they're doing the tricks, right? So we're gonna look at BMX racing, and with BMX, there's two sides of BMX, right? There's the tricks, which we saw, and then the racing, which comes later. And so it really sets up the movie, be ready to rock.
I always love how these movies that are like this always make it seem like whatever that thing is happening is the biggest thing to ever happen on the history of planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like this hell track is going to be like the world is watching, Brain.
Right. Yes. I mean, it's imperative. That's what Toyman will enjoy this reference, to be the best. To be the best about this kickbox. Like, I always think, like, if the world were to end and only certain movies survived, like, people were like, oh, what is this? To be the best. And they would think kickboxing was the biggest sport known to man.
That's how we choose who our leaders were, or
right.
something.
Like, they would just be like, wow, kickboxing. They were really like, there'd be no NFL. What NFL? What the hell's no? They would just, if that survived, they'd be like, oh, kickboxing was the most ultimate thing in the world, because there's coverage of it, and like TV coverage, like radio, everything. It's out of control. So yeah, if RAD were to be the thing that survived, people would think this was the thing. And that's good. You want to do that. And that, and Brian, this from the wrestling days, independent wrestling days. If you hype something up, it means something.
Oh, absolutely. People don't need to like know the context or even the details. If you can just make them believe it matters and it's big, they'll be interested.
That's why you could do something. You could be like, it's Championship Wednesday. What the hell? It's just something. It's the Mega Bowl.
The Mega
Bowl. Remember that?
I do. We hyped that for weeks.
The Mega Bowl, and then the crowd popped. But again, you got to make things seem important, and we're going to get into that. We get about 2 seconds of dialogue after the opening credits, and then we see our man Cru Jones, played by Bill Allen. He has a USA Today paper route. RTG, did you ever have a paper route as a boy?
Hell no. Well, actually, that's a true story. I did not, but my uncle, he went through a shitty divorce, and he had to pay some child support, and I would get up and help him throw some papers, and it was a shitty job, but at least we were in a vehicle and not on a bike. So that was but old Cru, man, when you're watching him, his route, he's just this kid because some of the people he's just throwing the newspaper. He's like, it's not where I wanted to go. Or then he sees a little girl and is like, hey, cutie, or whatever. And so the people that he likes, he's kind of cool with them. But the old people, he doesn't care. He's just free spirit, just doing whatever he wants to do. No discipline in his paper route game,
Yeah, I mean he's a teenager.
He's a teenager. Yeah.
What can you expect?
I mean, the fact he even got up early enough to get all that done before school. My son, that dude gets up 10 minutes before we're out the door.
This is also 86 and not 2026. So, and I think Cru had some responsibility at home because
that's true. His dad is gone, so he's kind of the man of the house. He probably did give him a little bit of a step up over your average teenager, where he kind of was forced to. I had a paper route for a short time, and I did it on foot. It was just like the once a week paper, not the daily paper, but
like the local paper.
Yeah, it was like just for the Parma and the Seven Hills. And
do you know what the hardest part was when I helped my uncle was when you went into collecting money?
Yes,
knocking on people's doors.
That's
like,
the part I didn't like. Yeah, I didn't mind the going out because they would come like Wednesday night, and especially in the summer, it's like, oh, beautiful. You just go out Wednesday night, put them in where you got to put them. But so yeah, then you go and be like, weren't you just here? Yeah, like a month ago. And it's like, so some places I wouldn't even go, and so I was like making money, and I was like, I'm done with this. If I'm gonna work, I'll get a real job. But yeah, so that was mine. Toyman, you know what I do like though is the song Paperboy, or the song Diddy by Paperboy.
The song Diddy by Paperboy. Actually, I actually got that CD. That was a CD I got for like my 13th birthday. There's some other good tracks on that one. Paperboy was good. He was solid.
He was good. I love Diddy. I'll probably be listening to that.
Did you just say you love Diddy?
Not that Diddy.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta be
D-I-T-T-Y.
Come on, bro.
D-I-T-T-Y.
Brian, I know you're not the urban expert, but you got to at least know. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Who?
I mean, back in the day, before you knew all that stuff about the other Diddy, I mean, he was fine, but
I don't know, man. 1997. I'm pretty sure he, made sure B.I.G. was killed. So then he
we didn't know that then.
Yeah,
we didn't know that then. That's hindsight.
Exploited him. Yeah.
It's hindsight.
We were on our way to Zach and I both needed our haircut tonight. Contrary to popular belief, I do have my head shaved by a barber professionally. And the song "Satisfy You"
easiest job they have.
It is the easiest job they have. But the song "Satisfy You" came on the little USB stick that I have in the car, and that is a song that is sung by Diddy and R. Kelly. And Zach and I had a wild conversation about how it's a great song. Yeah. It's a great song by two terrible people.
That's like the Eric Adams giving the key to the city to Diddy in New York.
I thought you went to the bowling alley to get your head done, Toyman, but that's all right.
I get the Three Stooges curly shine with the RAD on top.
Mm-hmm. That's where I thought you went to take care of business. But yeah, we briefly meet Burton Timmer, played by Roy Walston, who Toyman remembered.
Ray Walston.
Ray. I'm sorry. Ray. My apologies. My notes. I'm too tied to my notes that are misspelled. My favorite Martian.
Yeah.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Anything else you want to throw out there?
Picket fences. He was huge on picket fences.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
He was in an episode of, I see notes ahead that mention the Incredible Hulk, but he was actually in an episode of the Incredible Hulk called My Favorite Magician.
Oh, because Bill Bixby was on the show with him. A reunion of sorts. See, TV's smart. TV's smart sometimes.
Brain, do you remember how hot Lauren Holly was in Picket Fences? Oh,
I did not watch.
Oh my goodness!
Picket Fences. Right now, folks, you can't see this because you only get the audio. But RTG has a poster of Picket Fences autographed by Tom Skerritt behind him. And
yes, sir.
He actually has Picket Fences autographed by the cast.
He did. Yeah, he did.
He walked by the RTG house.
He picked. He took a different board to each signing and had them each sign one. and then he built it in his home. He's a big fan of picket fences, a show that I have never watched.
Who was the dad on the '70s show? Do you remember the '70s show? The guy that was in RoboCop. What's his name? Yeah,
Kurtwood Smith.
Kurtwood Smith.
He played, Kurtwood Smith, right? He played a serial killer of all things on picket fences.
Oh. Did he kill everybody? Because that's the episode
almost
I would have
everybody.
watched.
But also Costas Mandador, who's Louis Mandador's brother.
Mandalore,
right?
you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome guy. He was the other cop. So Lauren Holly and Costas Mandador were young cops, and Ray was a judge. And there was this guy like Joseph Wamba for the defense, like this old Jewish guy was the like a lawyer. So it was interesting.
Was it Five-ish Finkel who played him?
There we go. Yeah. There we go.
No, I never watched Picket Fences, and I don't plan on it. But you can put that right next to Toyman Soap, and we'll all be good. We see Burton Timmer and his morning coffee, and I would assume perhaps he had a donut or something or a fritter. What do you think he had there with him, Toyman?
Maybe some biscuits.
Biscuits, yeah.
Or maybe
What
a nice
area?
muffin.
What area of the country is this in? Do we ever get a location? Like what's like?
Oh, it's Georgia.
Georgia.
Oh, RTG home.
Actually, it's Canada, but yeah, it's Georgia.
Yeah, it's meant to be Georgia. Okay,
It's almost Georgia, which it looks nothing like Georgia.
Vancouver, Georgia.
Vancouver, Georgia. Vancouver, British Georgia.
See, I would have just assumed it was just some little California, because it was like,
The irony is that all movies are filmed in Georgia now.
That's true. Now,
That's true.
it's
That time.
Mel Gibson came down here and filmed some kind of agent movie.
They're going to do Lethal Weapon down there. The new Lethal.
They did
Weapon.
some prison scenes in one of the Avengers movies too.
Okay.
Down here. Some prison.
Right.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. And he said, "Oh, the world would be better without kids." So it's like, so we kind of get this feeling, like, oh, is he going to be the bad guy of the movie?
He's Brain 30 years from now.
Would you?
I'm like 10.
Thank you. Now let's go to high school, and that's where we find out that Cru and who we are told is kind of like his girlfriend, Katie, but doesn't seem like things are going too well with them.
No, Kate doesn't seem too thrilled with where the relationship's going. I don't know.
No, she doesn't believe in Cru's way of doing things, I suppose. But now here it comes, guys. This is what Ryan Campbell was talking about. Because Hell Track is coming to Cochrane.
Ooh, big time, Brain.
They got a city council meeting. We got the Mongoose head honcho, Duke Best. He's there hyping it up.
Prox to Mongoose being willing to put your name on the bad guy brand. I don't know if they got script rights, approval rights, but it's like, hey, we're gonna put your name in this movie, this big time movie for the BMX brand. Oh, okay, cool. And then it's like the evil bad guy is the head of the company.
Maybe Mongoose was trying to be like the bad boys of BMX.
Maybe.
Brain, where did you know
Duke
Best from?
Where do I know Duke Best from? I don't. He seemed like somebody I'd probably seen in something, but I didn't make the connection, and obviously I didn't look it up because it would be in my wonderful notes here. So please,
Duke Best, as played by Jack Weston.
Yeah,
he was the owner of whatever you want to call the facility, the place in Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing. He was in Dirty Dancing, yes.
And you might remember him from another movie that was repeated ad nauseum on HBO back in the day. He was the villain in Short Circuit 2.
Okay. I'm going to come clean here. I've never seen Dirty Dancing or Short Circuit 2.
Have you seen Short Circuit 1?
I do remember seeing Short Circuit 1. I think I've seen parts of Short Circuit 2.
So Brain, did you ever think that Fisher Stevens was like a real Indian guy? Because I sure did when I worked. I had no idea. So years later, now that we're now all culturally educated, right?
Right.
I was blown away. I was like, whoa, that's not a. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the name Fisher Stevens sounds very much like it comes from India. So I could see how you'd be confused. we've also found, so yeah, this is the first of its kind race in all of BMX history. And the winner will get $100,000 and a brand new Corvette donated by Burton Timmer.
It's big time.
Some lady said, like, "Oh, what about the children?" She's like, "What about the local kids? Aren't you're bringing all these like professional racers in that represent one of the factories that makes these? What about the local kids? Aren't they going to be left out?" So then Duke, thinking on his feet.
She said that though because she was the lady that Cru talked to right at the end of the first little USA Today montage. Okay. So they were friends.
It's kind of it's an insane concept though. It'd be like, hey, we're bringing a NASCAR race to this track. Well, won't the local kids be allowed to race in it?
It was the
That's
80s.
not how it works.
And that's how it worked in the 80s in movies anyway. So Duke, though, thinking on his feet, it's like, all right, we'll have a qualifying race for the local kids. And their local kids could be in the qualifying race. And if they even just make it, we'll give them $10,000 just for making it. It's, oh yeah, what a benevolent man this is. So
I mean, that's actually not a bad idea because like you get you're trying to get some good publicity with the townsfolk. Your odds are you're not going to have to pay out a dime, and you kind of have your cake and eat it too. I know he's supposed to be the villain, but it's not a terrible idea.
Right. No, I mean, at this point, we don't know that he's the villain either. So you're like, oh, this guy's, smart.
Not a pretty good idea.
And plus, he was thinking, there's no way
I've seen enough movies
will qualify for this hell track. He was like, yeah. Let's give him a little token. Yeah, let him do this little race. But there's just no way that
these
a local
Hicks, these local
Hicks
ain't gonna do.
These
shit.
Georgia Hicks,
Right. Then Duke hypes up his star, Bart Taylor, who was played by Bart Connor. Why couldn't he just be Bart Connor?
Bart Connor is a gymnast, which, the 80s had a knack for taking United States Olympic gymnasts and sticking them in roles against type, because this comes a year after Kurt Thomas starred in Gymkata, which at least he was a gymnast, but he wasn't a martial artist.
You're right.
Let's not forget about
I'm
Mitch
reading your notes, Crane.
Right, Mitch
I do remember the Bart Connor episode of Different Strokes. That's when Willis's friend was in the wheelchair and he was down on his luck and down on himself, and the U.S. team lifted his spirits.
That was beautiful. Thank you. And just stop there when talking about that show. All right. We go to a lumberyard sequence. Thank you. The lumberyard sequence with Cru and motorcycle cop Sergeant Smith, played by Hard-Boiled Haggerty, who I'm sure Toyman remembers from The Incredible Hulk and The Fall Guy.
And for being a former AWA tag team champion.
Oh, Toyman with his...
So, Toyman, did you ever watch AWA on ESPN, on cable when you were little?
Oh, all the time. I watched everything wrestling back in the day, for sure.
I don't think Hard-Boiled Haggerty was the tag team champion.
He wasn't on those.
No.
No.
But Nick Bockwinkel was,
He
Nick
was.
Bockwinkel, Kurt Hennig.
I fondly remember the Team Challenge series towards the end.
Oh, who doesn't, Toyman? I mean, they had to hold that thing in a secure facility because things were getting out of control, and also because nobody was paying to come see the shows. But
I'll throw this out there. If you're not following Chris the Brain on Twitter or on X, the Everything app, make sure you do, because you'll be getting some wonderful late night hashtag AWA tweets.
Yeah, when I get in those moods and throw on an AWA, I'm enjoying myself there. And I'm going to still say to this day, Ricky Rice, best drop kick ever. He's
not Marty Jannetty?
No.
You'd like him.
He's good. There's a lot of great, but nobody got up there like Ricky Rice. We then, we get this lumberyard sequence because, again, this movie is basically montage some stuff. It's the 80s again. We get to see Cru doing cool things in the lumberyard. Now we're going to meet Cru's foul-mouthed sister, Wesley, played by Laura Jacoby of the famous Jacoby Jane family.
Mm-hmm.
And she's getting into it with a Bart Taylor fan. And she might be my favorite character in the movie. She just tells it like it is. Toyman, why don't you tell us about the Jacobys? Not your good friend Dale Jacoby. I don't think he's any relation to these other Jacobys.
No, Dale Jacoby, friend of the site. Shout out to our podcast with him from about a year ago. Please check it out on the YouTube channel. It is up there. Especially, it goes well with my recent review.
But go ahead.
What's that?
Nothing.
I was going to say it goes hand in hand with my recent review of the No Retreat, No Surrender cinema documentary. But Billy Jacoby, aka Billy Jane, most well known by most people of a certain generation, that being our generation, for being Buddy, the sexually repressed younger brother in the classic comedy film Just One of the Guys, but also from the cult classic Fox sitcom Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Oh, yeah. And what about Bobby Jacoby from Iron Eagle, Doug Masters' younger brother?
Oh, yeah. Very good shout out. I think that's 2 weeks in a row we've made an Iron Eagle shout out.
You know, we can shout out Iron Eagle every week.
There you go. Have we done that on the podcast?
An Iron Eagle podcast? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I must not have been on that one.
But
Brain, I know we talk about tropes a lot. I do love the hero character with a foul-mouthed younger sister trope.
Yeah.
It's one we see a lot. One of my favorites being in Fired Up, but it's definitely a good trope.
Oh, yeah. Fired Up. It's almost time. It's almost time to watch some Fired Up. We also meet.
I said, "Hey, Tigers." Yeah.
Hey, what? Yeah, a Panther meet. Listen now, Cru's mom.
I was going to throw something out there about Billy Jacoby though that I'm surprised you did not mention because it involves two of your favorite things.
Okay, is it?
He was in the second episode of the A-Team that featured Hulk Hogan.
That's right, he was.
He also played like a little kid serial killer in Bloody Birthday, right?
Bloody Birthday.
Yeah. We get a Hulk Hogan reference later in this movie, I believe, and it didn't make any sense to me. And I try to help. Maybe you all can help. But yeah, we're going to also meet Cru's mom, Mrs. Jones, not of me and Mrs. Jones fame, as best I could tell. Talia Shire, and she is her usual wet blanket self in this thing. Just shitting all over Cru's dreams of BMX glory.
And yeah, they definitely were casting what they wanted. They said, "Hey, we need someone who, is stressed out, having to deal with their loved one having a dangerous dream." They're like, "Go get Adrian."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
well, because given that her husband was behind the film, I don't know if that says. I don't know what that says about their relationship.
You're right. There's a scheduling conflict, however, because Hell Track is going to be on the same day that Cru was set to take the SATs. Now, I have to think about this. To your point, Ryan Campbell, Hell Track is like the biggest thing to ever come to Cochrane. Biggest thing in the world. You're trying to tell me you could have been like, "Hey, SAT fucks, you got to move this shit. We got Hell Track this week." I mean, the SAT people who were like monitoring the people be like, "Oh, hell no. We want to be at the damn Hell Track. I'm not going to sit here watching kids with number 2 goddamn pencils."
Well, that, and they usually will have like 3 or 4 weekends.
Multiple, yes,
yeah,
exactly.
You might have to drive maybe a little bit to another school. Like I know when I took mine, I had to drive about 40 minutes to to Marymount or something to take it. So I mean, I'm sure there was another option to get it taken, or like you said, just enroll a semester late. It really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But
when I have to imagine she knows her son is literally obsessed with BMX, and if he has even a chance to do the thing he loves, yeah, you give him that chance.
And again, he's a teenager, and you're telling him not to do something, which is only going to make him want to do it more. So Cru plays the dead dad card. It's like, Dad always trust your gut. My gut's telling me Hell Track. So now he's got to get ready for Hell Track, and we get a montage. And RTG Cru isn't very good at the little ramp gimmick.
Nah, man, he's flipping, right, and he's missing. He's flipping again. He's missing, and then his friends, right? Who is it? Is it Luke and was it Luke? And Lori, right?
I love Luke and Lori. Just saying that.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's Becky, Luke and Becky. I was thinking, I was really confused.
You were thinking General Hospital.
But there's a quote in it, right? It's like one of them's like, you're like, he says he's dizzy because he's been doing it for so many times, right? And then he's like, you're always dizzy. And then what's her name? Help me out. Lori or Becky. Becky, yes. Becky from Friday the 13th Part 2. Becky from Friday the 13th Part 2 was like terminal, you know. Yeah. But Becky was actually controversial in her Friday the 13th Part 2 role. Toyman, do you know anything about that?
I haven't watched Part 2 in a while, but it's funny that you mention it because I was just going down the rabbit hole the other day, but it was more for the later ones. So off the top of my head, no, I can't respond to that one.
Well, she filmed some scenes, and they're like, wait a minute, they forgot to check her ID.
Oh,
so they had to, like,
oh.
yeah. So it's big.
Not as
big
bad as Tracy Lords.
Yes, not as bad, but to a small degree. So, and unfortunately, she's still alive. Last I heard, but just 35 years of meth, 40 years of meth. Yes, I've seen some mug shots, and it's not good.
Oh my word!
Not good,
Thank
guys.
you for bringing this podcast on. So much. I forgot how much joy and you sprinkle into these shows.
That and the depressing divorce paper route story.
Yeah, we got James Brown can't get buried. I mean, this is just bad news.
We'll see in another 196 episodes.
Got some bad news for you. Yeah.
Bad news, RTG. But let's lighten the mood because we've got a parade. And Bart Connor and the Crimson Twins of Rod and Rex Reynolds.
Oh, I know this parade meant a lot to me, Brain, because growing up, we had a little something in Cleves, Ohio called Gravel Rama. It was a very small town.
Yeah.
But there was for whatever reason, I don't know why, one of the most premier like hill climb events in the country is in this small little town of Cleves, Ohio, right next to a cemetery. Yeah. I can't imagine there isn't a single soul resting peacefully in that cemetery when this hill climb dirt pool thing's going on one weekend a year.
Well, the good thing is James Brown isn't there.
James Brown is not.
That's right. But when that happens, the entire town shuts down for the weekend. There's a big parade on the Thursday before Gravel Rama, and all the trucks drive through the town and everything. So I felt seen a little bit in the parade scene.
I mean, you talk about the whole town shutting down. That was like when Flamingo Road would air in Rhode Island, but we've talked about that in the past. And Toyman was, of course, a part of that.
Bart, I appreciate your Crimson Twins reference.
Thank you.
So I know what you're aiming for there. Did you know that those twins have a wrestling connection?
I did not. I didn't dig deep into these twins either. What did they do?
Now, we've mentioned the AWA, we've mentioned the WWF. We've got to give a shout out to WCW, and here's a little WCW slice of pop culture history that I'm sure you have not thought about in a while. But they wrote the movie Shutter Speed that starred Sting.
I covered that on the site.
Yep. They also wrote House of Wax and the Conjuring films.
Hell yeah, House of Wax.
Well, there you go.
Speaking of Sting, what's been depressing is that run in leading up to Starrcade with Crowstain.
Yeah.
That does not live up as an adult, and that's depressing. Like when I was a kid, that was the biggest shit to ever happen. Like I was popping so hard every single week, every single time you'd pull the mask off or fall from the ceiling. It was a dummy. And then it took this mask, like the beating up all the fake ones. And they'd pull like every single one of those felt like freaking Avengers movies to me. And going back as an adult and watching them, they're all just super cringy, and it does not live up.
The two best moments in WCW 1997, in my opinion, is the end of Uncensored 97 when he comes down. And then, honestly, because, everything towards the end of the year, and then Starrcade was kind of like the big popcorn fart that, like, nothing got over. But Luger winning the title in August.
That was big.
I think they should have ran with that a little bit longer.
That was like the first 3-hour Nitro, wasn't it?
I mean, when I think back on it, like because I was a Sting fan, and then like him being portrayed when he wasn't really in the NWO, and then disappearing and coming back, and like the vignettes, like, oh, that shit was made for me, and it does not live up now. And so, sorry to bring it down again, but
a lot of that stuff, and even the Attitude Eras, it's like better to just watch as the clips. Just watch the clips, because if you watch whole shows, it's like, yeah, a lot of it does not hold up. But this has not become a 90s wrestling podcast or 80s, since I was bringing up Ricky Rice, but, or 70s, because, Toyman and his hard-boiled Haggerty tag team title photo that he's got hanging above him. Toyman changes out his pictures behind him every week, just so you all know.
I don't know how he knows what we're going to be talking about. He seems to nail it.
I have to
every
buy
week.
one of those carousels. Like when you go to the restaurant, you see like the cakes on the carousel. I've got to get that for like little photos, so I know that what I'm referring to.
Yeah, you do. But yeah, the cool kids are shitting on this little podunk town. Bart gets out. He signs some autographs. The girls are going crazy for him. And then he's like, turns his attention to the number one female in all of BMX racing, Christian, played by ex-con Lori Loughlin.
Now ex-con. She wasn't an ex-con when she played this role.
Operation Varsity Blues.
That's right.
Hey,
as a parent, you do what you got to do to get your kids into good school,
But Brain, I got a theory about that though. I believe
Okay.
Bart and Christian were an item before this, and
yes,
I think
it did seem that they were. Yeah,
and
there
really though,
some history. Yeah,
and I got a theory on Bart too. See what
Okay.
Toyman thinks. I know Bart's not really a heel. Bart's not an asshole. Those twins are. Those twins are assholes. Those twins are. Bart did not actually shit on the town. Bart just was there.
Bart is an alternate reality version of Cru. Like, he probably was very similar, kid with a dream. Yep. And when the money got offered to him, he took it, and it's turned him into this, where we're going to, spoiler alert, later.
Everybody's telling him, hey, you're really good. And he is really good. And
they gas him up.
So,
Well, Cru, there's a woman who's trying to get through, but they've got the street blocked off because it's a parade. But Cru just takes the barricade and basically stops the parade so this woman can get through.
That's right. This is his freaking town.
He has made this woman, Toyman, a fan for life.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
She will die for him at this point because she had something in the oven or something. I think she may have wanted.
Got a roast in the oven? I don't know.
Something in the oven from this. But, that's going into a whole horrible area. And I'm not going to do that because I'm trying to lift this podcast up.
I'm trying to pull it out of the muck.
We're in the muck enough. So anyway, this is also where Cru and Christian lock eyes for the very first time. And now we both know that, to RTG's point, it seems that Christian's relationship with Bart is no longer a thing. And we've already seen Cru and Katie having a rough go. So it looks like these two may be headed for romance. And it's the 80s. So
he's bouncing back quick from that girlfriend that didn't want to approve of his dreams.
But he's gonna try one more time because he's like, hey, there's the big dance tonight, because again, this is Hell Track. We got a parade, we got a big dance. So hey, Katie, we're gonna go to the dance.
That is hilarious though. Like, they come into town and they hold a dance.
We'll be there. I'll be there, but I'm not going with you. So now we know. Okay. So
at first I thought it was a high school dance, because I figured there's a high school dance going on. But then all of the BMX guys that are in town show up, and I'm like, did the BMX people put on this dance?
Yeah.
You got the mayor getting drunk at the dance.
Yeah, I guess they should have called it if they would have called it a gala, that would have been a little better, I guess, maybe. But
well, Bart and the Crimson Twins do a whole dance number at this dance. So maybe they do this everywhere they go. I don't know. They had a routine. And Cru and Christian once again cross paths. And now we both, they're free. They're free of their previous engagements. And she shows up interrupting Bart's dance routine.
A bike dance.
Next thing you know, then the DJ's like, oh, we're going to get a bicycle boogie from Christian and Bart. So again, this must have been the gimmick. Like, she shows up and they do it like it was a whole thing.
I enjoyed the commentary from the DJ that was just giving us play-by-play of this entire ordeal.
And then we get, instead of Bart and Christian, it's Cru and Christian. You get me a little Send Me an Angel by Real Life.
Oh.
And man, what a scene this is, RTG.
Okay, so true story. Send me an angel. You know how you sing songs in the shower or whatever. Send me an angel is one of my
One of your
most repeated.
go-tos?
Yes, it's one of my go-tos. And Bicycle Boogie is, oh my goodness, it's amazing, right? I mean, what are they doing? They're slow dancing to one of the greatest songs of all time, and with slow dancing, not with by touching each other, but slow dancing on their bikes, doing tricks.
Right.
And shout out to the stunt people, right? Because it's not.
You don't think it was really them?
Oh, there wasn't even a female in the one. There's a few shots where it's very clearly just a dude with like a wig on.
That's a guy, but just shout out to the stunt work on the whole throughout RAD. But Bicycle Boogie is Send Me an Angel. It's a great
Bicycle
scene.
Boogie almost seems like that could have been the alternate title.
But I could only imagine, honestly, how much cocaine was snorted filming that movie, right? I mean, at least that scene. I mean, there's probably piles and piles of cocaine just everywhere.
It's the 80s.
It's the 80s.
Started Lori Loughlin on her downward spiral.
It started her. And also poor Becky, who, 30 years later was awful. But
right.
They're probably all doing it.
This Bicycle Boogie did not just captivate us watching. It captivated Duke Best, and he's like, who is this local kid? And even the Crimson Twins, Rod and Rex, they're getting into it. But then Bart's like, gives them a look, and it's like, okay, stop. So now the next day we see Cru. He's got a job. He's not a professional BMX guy, so he's got a job. He's bussing tables. And Bart
into his paper route. This dude's like,
he's
a rise and grind, man.
Yeah, he's hustling.
He's the man of the house, man.
He is. And Bart and some ladies show up, and of course they look down upon this guy who's just had to wipe their table down. And we cut to Cru now. He's got to go try that jump again, and this time he's got Christian there to coach him up. And now, since we've had a few moments of people talking, it's time for another montage, Toyman. And this time, it's a romantic montage.
Yeah, they start falling for each other very fast. Christian kind of starts confiding in Cru, but she's also like hyping him up as well. It's not just all about her. So There's a connection here. She sees a little bit of her struggles in him, and much like his local friends, she's trying to prop him up. So again, we're talking about Bart being the bizarro Cru. He's got the assholes kind of like feeding his ego and making him come off as a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
Christian kind of going the sentimental route and, telling Cru, like, you could have anything. Like, you're really good. You got to believe in yourself. You got to push yourself to do that. Like, trust your heart. So we're getting the moral message with this relationship here.
It sounds like she wanted a little bit of Cru in her. Not just his struggles. Now, Christian, not being a small town moron, tells Cru, you can do this BMX riding and then take the SAT 6 months from now.
The obvious thing.
And then, of course, this is interesting because years later, Lori Loughlin would tell her daughters that they were good enough to get into USC. So she has, an ability.
She's got a knack for getting people motivated, right?
Yeah, she'll find a way to get people to that next level.
She told him, "Don't worry about taking the SATs. I'll figure out how to get you into whatever school you want to go to."
But now it's time. It's qualifier time, and I kind of was questioning, why did Bart have to? I guess they figured he was going to qualify no matter what.
You got to qualify in the Olympics, Brain.
That is true. That is true. So this is where Cru and Luke and anybody else from the town can go up against these big time BMXers, and Duke Best welcomes everyone with the call of the action for the TV coverage is Bill, the TV announcer. I would have picked Stu Nahan for this job, but apparently he may not have been available. And they hype this thing up as the Super Bowl of BMX. Then we cut to Mrs. Jones in the basement of her. She's in the laundry room. She got a little TV. She turns it on while she's ironing, and she sees Cru, and she is not a happy lady.
Nope. And Brain, kind of unique, an interesting strategy here in an event-wise where you don't do qualifying on the actual track. That is interesting.
Well, they didn't want, they were saving that track.
Yeah, I get it from a movie perspective, but like just thinking of it in real life, like if you like did a qualifying and all your heat racing on a different track, and then all of a sudden you didn't see the actual track until like the final event, that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah,
It'd be hell. It'd be the track from hell.
You're so right. You are so right, Ryan. Cru's boy Luke ends up getting out of the qualifiers because his bike gets jacked up. So he's out, and then now it's all up to Cru RTG to represent the locals.
Hell yeah! So what he's got to do? He's got to go 3 races, right? He goes third, second, something like that. So he never wins a qualifying race, but that's okay.
He gets enough points, so that's good.
Thunder in your heart, right?
Exactly. Then we get another great song, "Thunder in Your Heart," and that's when they're like, "Oh yay, you did it, Cru!" And Mom shows up, and it's like, "Oh shit."
Oh, I mean, remember back in the day when like when your mom would show up and you're like, oh shit, your dad show up, oh shit. Nowadays kids like they see their mom and like, oh fuck you, I mean,
I won't give all the details, but my 12-year-old daughter brain got in the most trouble she has ever gotten in.
Oh no.
A few weeks ago, and it was that moment. It was like and we're divorced, but that was like I drive over there, both parents talking to her. She didn't have her phone for 2 weeks. Like it was so I'm sure she can sympathize with that feeling, right?
Come on, Emmy. I expect better of you.
She's handling it well though. She's done very good. She's been contrite. You realize she's blocked those friends in her phone from now on.
She had some Crimson Twin assholes.
She did
on her shoulder.
She's a good kid.
She is. Unlike Lyle. Anyway. That
exists.
Let me tell you something about you, Lyle Campbell. I've got a grudge against you that I will never lift. But Emmy, she loves her Uncle Brain. I think. I don't know. Anyway, she at least knows I exist. Anyway, now listen. Cru's like, hey, Mom. Or she's like, no matter what, you got to take those SATs in 6 months. Okay, Mom, I promise. Great. We got that crap out of the way. Now, Cru could just focus on what he's got to do. But now, RTG, he's going to have a dilemma because Duke Best tracks him down and wants to speak to him.
Oh, it's that old cliche, right? When the hero's soul, will the hero sell his soul? And of course, Duke wants him to take a fall. And what does Cru say? He basically tells him to fuck off and gets out the car.
Yeah. I wish he would have, but it wouldn't have flown.
It was a good moment. I liked that because I assumed from watching enough of these movies like Brink that he would the girls flirted with him before he got in the car to try to show him. I thought he would take the money and then kind of betray his friends and betray Christian and then kind of see the arrow in his ways and go back to his friend's team or something. Like I thought that's where the movie was going to go. It's kind of like how these kinds of movies work. So I was surprised to see him just tell him to fuck off right off the bat.
Yeah, I was getting a little bit, and I don't know that you've seen this one, Ryan. You may have watched it. Toyman, I'm sure you have. RTG, The Heavenly Kid.
One of the PG-13 movies with nudity, right?
When Jason Gedrick starts getting cool, and then he forgets that he's the good kid and kind of acts like an asshole to others. So I was kind of there, like, oh, is Cru gonna kind of get in his own little asshole phase? But no, to your point, Ryan, he surprised us and he just said, no, I'm too good for this. So now he goes to officially register.
Well, the other thing too is I don't think we know in the car that
No, we don't know yet. He doesn't reveal.
Yeah. He reveals that later what actually went down in the car. So
made a
little more sense.
He didn't sell his soul though,
Yeah, we see the beginning of the conversation and the end where he turns it down, but we don't know what that offer was specifically until a bit later. Toyman, Cru then goes to officially register, and things, they're playing some kind of almost Mr. McMahon like games where they're just screwing, like they're just changing the rules as he goes. He's now like Stone Cold.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this match is now no count out. This match is now no disqualification. So they're trying to throw all the hurdles in his way, but this kind of goes back to Cru, believe in yourself, put your best foot forward because we know that a lot of the locals are behind him. We know he's got that fan for life, like you mentioned earlier, but
Oh, she
we're
loves him.
gonna start realizing that there's actually more people behind Cru than we actually thought.
Right. And the one thing they didn't go back on, they did give him that $10,000 since he qualified to be a part of it. But they're like, you need a sponsor or you can't race. No sponsor, no racing. So Cru's friends, yeah, they're all ticked off. They're like, we'll just go over there and destroy the hell track. And Cru's like, no. Let's use the money against them. So they start a t-shirt company. So now Cru is basically sponsored by RAD clothing. RTG, did you have a RAD t-shirt? I know Toyman does.
Man. Of course.
Right. Very good.
Of course.
Once again, Duke's right-hand man then, Elliot, he shows up and yet another rule change. He's like, okay, well, not only do you have to be sponsored by a company, you have to have $50,000 in sales. Now, Ryan Campbell, if this was a privately held company, they don't have to reveal their sales information.
That's right. And I think now it sounds like we're getting to the point where they don't even have to do quarterly reports anymore for public companies. It's going to be like twice a year now.
Oh, my word. See? Well, back in 1986 in Cochrane, these rules didn't apply.
That's a lot of sales. That's probably almost like 200,000 in today money.
Yeah, that's a bit of money.
Rain, I'm surprised when you've been kind of ragging the small town feel for this, you didn't come out with a good old corny outlaw mud show bullshit type of comment.
Why would I do that? I mean, this is a top.
This is legit. Yeah, this is a legit.
This is Hell Track, BNX, Mongoose. This isn't. Well, that RAD T-shirt thing might be a little mud show, but you know what? You got to do what you got to do. Grassroots.
Take initiative.
Right, and it's that initiative that catches the eye of Timmer, Mr. Timmer, who, again, at the beginning, you kind of think like, oh, this guy's just a curmudgeon. He's an asshole. He's going to be a problem as this movie continues. But he kind of likes what he sees here. These kids are making it happen. And him and Duke Best may not be on the best of terms anymore. So Cru, though, is like, oh, man, what am I going to do? We don't have $50,000 in sales. So he goes and he sulks like a teenager is often prone to do.
This is Cru's biggest bitch moment in the movie.
Yeah, it is. He gets in a little spat with Christian. It seems like everything is falling apart until we get another town hall meeting, Ryan Campbell.
These town hall, I got to commend these people that shit's getting done at these town hall meetings.
Right.
What was the population of this town? Because only like 10 people are there, but it was a huge meeting though, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But they're
all the business leaders, concerned citizens.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah,
I like a town.
Commerce, yeah,
I like a town that really has its ear to the ground and is involved in this stuff.
Yeah, one has to wonder why Cochrane of all
ain't no one going to build a data center. A data center would never get put up in this town. I can tell you that. Beyond that shit.
Don't even get me started on data centers. Good God. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I just wonder how Cochrane won the bidding war to have the Hell Track in their town. But
I think there's an implication that Timmer somehow got them there. If it was some type of sponsorship or something like that.
Timmer was the one pulling that. That would make sense. You know, Toyman, this is why you're so valuable as one of the two. You know, we're kind of split here. We've got two longtime RAD fans and two newbies. So thank you for your veteran advice, knowledge, bald bastard. All right, Sergeant Smith. Speaking of bald bastard, Sergeant Smith is there, and he's like, "I watch these kids grow up. I chase them around. We should raise money." I don't know how he gets from one to the other, but the fact of the matter is, they're going to raise some money, and they do so. But they're still $27,000 short. And they don't have the ability to have a show at Miracles to raise the rest of the money, as they would do in Break Into Electric Boogaloo. So it's again looking like, well, it's just not going to happen. We do catch up with Cru and Christian. They're like at the little convenience store, ice cream shop. You know, it's the catch-all. And I did spy a G.I. Joe comic in the background. Did you, Toyman?
Yes,
I would hope you spot all of them because you got the beautiful 4K. I'm watching on a goddamn VHS rip.
I was just gonna say, I love
good
watching
4K too. It's a good copy.
I love watching the old movies, and I'm like, I remember when I found that action figure in the store. I remember when I saw that comic book, like, simpler times when you could actually go out and find something and be happy that you found it instead of just opening your phone and being like, send this to my doorstep. Like, yeah, that's convenient and all, but the
It's
thrill
not
of the chase
fun,
is
yeah.
gone.
Or it's not even a chase. You just would walk in and something would be there. Like you didn't know. It was almost like the thrill of not knowing what I'm going to find, but you knew you were going to find something.
Stores actually stocked items.
Right.
Do you remember when you could go to Rose's and get like aliens toys? Like there used to be like a Sergeant Apone action figure. It was so cool. Or RoboCop toys. R-rated movies with kids' toys is one of the greatest.
Oh, we've talked about that quite a few times in recent years. I covered the Rambo cartoon, and I did the Chuck Norris Karate Commandos. We've talked about these R-rated properties that have gotten dumbed down for kids. Yeah, that's been a subject before.
But now we've dumbed down them again too. Like Fortnite with like Michael Myers or Leatherface skins, or so it's still happening.
It's going in the opposite direction. It's like here's Fortnite, but let's add this R-rated stuff. Whereas even Police Academy, like I know the later movies were all PG-13, but that first one, you've got Lassard getting a blowjob under the podium, and then 4 years later, hey kids, here's a cartoon.
And then part 2 was PG-13, but had nudity at the beginning. And so me and my friend would watch that scene over and over, and then watch Rocky 4 just over and over every single night, like countless times.
What is one? Okay.
Yeah. Police Academy 2 and Rocky 4 on repeat.
Okay. That makes sense to me. All the time. You paired those two together all the time. Were they on the same tape?
Once again,
something?
Brain is that James Brown connection too. Of course. Living in America.
I was surprised when the WCW talk was happening. You didn't say your favorite moment was when James Brown and Ernest the Cat Miller got together.
Yeah, and I've told you about James Brown's funeral. We won't go because we're going late on time. But that time when Michael Jackson was dancing at James Brown's funeral, and my dad called me and was like, "Michael Jackson's on the TV dancing," and I turned. Oh, well, of course, I was already there because it's James Brown's funeral, right? But,
right.
Yeah.
Atlanta shut down. It was like Rhode Island when Flamingo Road showed up. All right. It's time now, folks. It's Hell Track. Cru is in thanks to guess who did the $27,000? It's Timmer.
I love that. That was a cool. I think they could have done a little bit more. I would like to have seen more with Timmer interacting with Cru as because we get the idea that he kind of is the curmudgeon, doesn't like the kids, and is all about the money coming into the town. Even though he has a BMX bike that he rides around for whatever reason with a suit and little capper hat, but and we get scenes with him and Duke where he's gives the middle finger. You can see him kind of souring on him, but I feel like there could have been a little bit more there with between him and Cru maybe, or see him buying the shirts at the last minute and them realizing they get to be in the race.
Are there any?
A little bit missed there.
Did they actually even make all those shirts? Because $27,000, that's an ass load of shirts.
Yeah,
they pre-ordered them.
Yeah, it probably was. It was basically a pre-order,
and they sent the work off to China, right?
Yeah. Or Pro Wrestling Tees,
right. I was going to ask: does the 4K are there any deleted scenes?
I don't believe there's any deleted scenes.
No.
Yeah. I mean, everything that they had was gold.
Everything was so rad to begin with.
Okay. So. Right. So now they're like, okay, we can't come up with any more reasons to keep Cru out. So Duke's like, hey, Crimson Twins, you just need to take him out. And it's like, I started thinking that should have just been the plan from the get-go instead of all these things. You just use these guys as your bullies and get rid of them. But they're going to try it. But it doesn't start off that way because Cru gets the early lead. But then things start going, we have to build that drama up. And we get to that flip part, which we've built up he had trouble with the flip. Christian helped him with the flip. He does the flip, and the announcer, and I rewound it because I'm like, why? Eat your heart out, Hulk Hogan. I can never honestly say I ever saw Hulk Hogan do a flip in my life, and maybe he did at some.
Maybe he did in Japan.
Yeah,
maybe he did it on AWA wrestling.
I don't even think he would have. Maybe, but I never saw it, so I did not understand this line. Again, if this was Stu Nahan doing the announcing, he would not have said something so stupid. Toyman, what say you?
I have no good explanation for why this was said because, as we know, unless he was dropping the leg, Hogan didn't like to leave his feet.
Right.
At least mostly in our era. So unless this guy saw something when he was Terry Boulder or Sterling Golden, I think he might have misspoke. Maybe he was thinking of someone named Hank Hogan, who was like a professional BMXer that we didn't know or who was made up for the moment.
He should have
made it for the
said
movie.
He should have said, "Eat your heart out, Bart Connor."
That would have made more sense.
All right. Well,
did Bart Connor remind him of Hulk Hogan with the blonde hair?
Yeah, maybe.
Minus the bald spot.
Oh, who are you to say anything about that?
I don't have a bald spot. I have a bald head. Every spot's bald.
Folks, I don't want to spoil this for you. It's 40 years old, but Cru ends up winning the whole thing.
He never should have won because Bart did his, what you want to say, face turn.
Yeah.
And Bart's like, come on, he's like, fuck this. I want to win legit, right? But Bart should have won. It's almost like the Cobra Kai thing,
Mm-hmm.
So.
But yeah, Bart, he's done with Mongoose, but there's plenty of other sponsors, and we get some more Thunder in Your Heart. I do want to mention Cru had the homemade suit. Very, very underdogish, Ryan Campbell.
Very grassroots.
Right, absolutely, yeah.
Kind of like when 1 2 3 before 1 2 3 Kid was 1 2 3 Kid, and he was just L Kid and all that. Just looked real homemade.
Sometimes it takes some time to find what works, And, you got to workshop some things.
So yeah, we get that. Thunder in Your Heart, end credits. Final thoughts. We'll start with you, Ryan Campbell. This was your first time watching this film.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Again, it's kind of right down my alley. I could see where I was. This is a few months after this. I would be born into this world, so it was a little bit before my time. I never kind of wasn't even aware that it was a thing. Brain. So this first time watch, but like I said, movies like Brink and even like some Mighty Ducks and some other stuff like that, or like movies where like the kids and everything that's the most important thing ever, kind of like sports movies and stuff. I loved all that stuff. So this felt nostalgic, even though I'd never seen it before. So it threw some curveballs. There were some ways that I kind of thought would be the formula that they would go, and they went some different ways. Some good performances. It wasn't too cheesy. Like, it's so easy for these movies to become kind of a cheese fest and kind of feel like a Disney Channel movie or something.
Right.
But it really didn't. They slipped some curse words in there just enough to give it a little edge. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I loved his friend characters for whatever reason. They just seemed like the most chill people. They had like a relationship, like this.
Yeah, that's because they were fucking, Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, but it seemed like the ones that would like stay together their entire lives, and then it would be like the super cool like adults in the friend group that like just were rock solid and just they were super supportive. They never abandoned them. They just seemed like really dope as shit people. So I really like them as well.
Dope as shit indeed. Toyman, your thoughts?
I love this movie. I make no secret about it. Like I said, I've seen it multiple times. I own it in multiple formats. I have the shirt. I actually have limited edition RAD sneakers that came out for the earlier anniversary, the 35th anniversary. They're Etnies sneakers, done in the RAD color scheme. So yeah, I am a super fan of this film. It is pretty funny because I was never a huge bike riding kid. Like, I'd ride my bike around the neighborhood, but I was never trying to do tricks or pop wheelies or anything like that. I certainly wasn't about to ride my own hell track, but No, this is one of my 80s favorites. It's one that little Zach has jumped onto. Like I said, we got to see it in the theater and we still watch it occasionally. So yeah, this one has been a favorite for years. I cannot believe that it's turning 40 years old, but those 4 decades have given me great enjoyment.
Yeah, Toyman didn't do the tricks because he didn't want to be laid up in the hospital where he potentially could miss Dynasty. RTG, this was your pick.
Yes, sir.
Your final thoughts.
All right. So, Letterboxd, they have a top 4 on like your profile, right?
Correct.
So in my top 4, I don't think I'm ever going to change it. It's Hard Boiled, Heat,
Okay.
Dazed and Confused, and Rad. I think it sums me up.
Very
I think
eclectic.
about Rad is this, we watched it as a kid, and then there's this thing like blinded by nostalgia, like some movies that you go and you watch now, like a Kid Co or Big Shots. It's just not the same. It doesn't hold up. But Rad to me is just as good or maybe even better as a grown up as it was when I was a kid. And to capture that same, like, I can't watch Rad without almost like, getting that emotional feeling at the end
Yeah,
when
you get that thunder in your heart.
That thunder in your heart, and just it holds up. And just to be able to, introduce it to other people and just to come on here to talk to you guys. I mean, we have 2 new fans, and Toyman with all his, memorabilia and collections, and, raising his son right to, love Rad. I think Rad's going to, 40 years later, is still going to be talked about. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
I should mention, you guys touched on the songs. I didn't even mention that. Break the Ice and Thunder in Your Heart are 2 songs that get constant play because not only are they on the USB stick that I keep in the car with the MP3s on it, but Zach has his own musical playlist on YouTube, and both of those songs are on there. So if he's ever just kind of chilling, doing his homework or drawing or something, and he's got his music playing, those songs are 2 that are on there. So yeah, even the music has made its way into our hearts.
Toyman, did you ever hear of a Bluetooth? All right, now, what I have to say is, yeah, this was my first time watching. I could definitely see how this is a beloved film. And while I didn't have, the nostalgia of seeing it back in the day, I mean, they took the 80s playbook and ran it perfectly. I mean, everything's here. Everything you would expect to happen happens. But it's okay because that you expect it to happen, but you want it to happen as well. So when it plays out that way, you're happy to see it. And Cru was very good, a humble hero, a great underdog, and Lori Loughlin wasn't a convict yet, so she's all right. And there was all kinds of they had some.
Shout out to Bart Connor though, man.
Bart Connor
he's not a professional Olympian to just a believable guy. I mean, he had that athletic look. Yeah, great athlete.
Great athlete, and he was able to transfer that athleticism to this film.
We didn't really talk about his redemption arc at the end of the movie either, really.
He denounces his mongoose.
Yeah, he loses his ride, but then is willing to give it up and congratulates Cru, and it becomes the second rider on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good for you, Bart. Good for all Rad fans across the globe who listen to this podcast. And thank you, RTG, for picking this movie and giving me the opportunity to check it out for the very first time.
Yes, sir.
Now, let's wrap things up. I do want to send out a quick congratulations to Mikhail and Brian for winning our Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 contest. You may already have your copies. They have been dropped off. So check your mail. They'll be there. Also, everyone out there, if you're on social media, Bulletproof Action and the Bulletproof Podcast are there too, because we are at Bulletproof Pod on X and Blue Sky, and at Bulletproof Action on Instagram and Facebook. We're on Letterboxd at Bulletproof Pod, and you can follow my personal Letterboxd, Chris the Brain, and of course Todd Gaines, the Letterboxd legend himself, Todd _Gaines.
That site's grown, man. That site's not the same site it used to be. I'm
enjoying my time there, and I should have joined when you told me so many years ago, but I'm there now, and I'm going all in. The YouTube channel, I have recorded another episode of Bulletproof Spotlight. I will share more about that next week.
Very exciting, Brain.
But yeah, we will have another episode of that. And of course, if you're listening to this podcast on our YouTube channel, we appreciate that. And what are they supposed to do if they haven't already done it, Ryan Campbell?
You got to just do all the YouTube things. You all got a YouTube channel. You know the gimmicks. You like, you subscribe, you hit that bell icon. If you're on mobile, hit that hype button. You guys know how all this works. It's the easiest way to support us without, just sending us money is just to do those things. We certainly appreciate it.
We do indeed. And speaking of I appreciate all three of you gentlemen for joining me for this episode. And I want to thank everybody for listening. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.